This is the 2024 Infiniti QX60. It's the Pure trim level, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to give you the information to answer the question, is this the best bang for the buck trim level? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. And for those of you who often ask to see lower trim levels, well, you can't get any lower than this with the Pure trim level, as this is the base trim level for the QX60. But that doesn't mean you're going to be lacking in features and functionality. In fact, you get a lot for the price. You'll also find a very roomy interior, and that's balanced with not only roominess, but a very comfortable ride quality and a very quiet experience driving down the road at highway speeds. And so let's dig into this particular model and see what you get. You will find a link down in the description of the video to the Infiniti website where I borrowed this model if you want to know more about it. So we're gonna have a lot of LED as far as this model goes. LED daytime running lights, LED headlights that are bifunctional. They're going to automatically adjust to the driving conditions, always a good thing. And when it comes to elegance, this is a good place to have chrome, or really kind of just a really nice clean look, which is what we have right here with not only the logo, but the surround and trim work with the grille. So you have a combination of the chrome and some gloss black here, but I like the fact that you don't have so much gloss black down here. The matte black finish, or just kind of a flat black, that tends to wear better because it doesn't show damage as easily. So that's a good thing where that is concerned. And depending on what you want, all-wheel drive is going to be standard, but front-wheel drive is going to be standard. Let's get that right. Front-wheel drive is standard. All-wheel drive is going to be optional. So you have your options where that is concerned. And how about our tire and wheel size? The width will be 255. We'll have a 60 series sidewall wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. Power adjustable side view mirrors with the turn signal indicators built in. As you can see, you will also find blind spot monitoring right there. And we'll take a quick look with the Louisiana sunshine lighting things up for us with the remote here. A very compact remote that's going to get the job done, light, easy to deal with, always a good thing. And a little bit more of that chrome, not only surrounding the windows here and working its way towards the back, but also with the door handles. That's always a good thing in every situation. And we'll take a quick look here to the rear of the vehicle. You'll also have your LED taillights back here. The rear roof spoiler that not only has a nice look, it does provide functionality that allows air to flow over this rear window when the vehicle is moving down the road in motion. That helps keep the rear window clean, but you'll obviously also have the rear window wiper here when needed. And plenty of lighting back here with LED taillights. The light up here is also going to be LED, and the shark fin antenna up there finishes things off. A very clean look here on the rear of the QX60. And while there is only one engine option available for the QX60, regardless of trim level, for those of you who are anti-turbocharger, this should make you very happy. It's a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6. It puts out 295 horsepower and 270 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and the MPGs come in at 21 city and 26 highway. And if you're curious, how big of a gas tank do you have? Fairly large for a model like this, 19.5 gallons. And how about practical use as I hit the button here to open the hands-free liftgate, power liftgate, very useful. Towing comes in with front-wheel drive at 3,500 pounds. And a rather impressive 6,000 pounds if you go all-wheel drive. There is a spare tire located underneath the rear of the vehicle. That's always helpful. And you're looking at a couple of different numbers here with cargo space. There is quite a bit of space here underneath the floor, which is dampened, by the way. You can see when I let that go, it just kind of goes down on its own very slowly. And we're looking at 14.5 up to 75.4 cubic feet of cargo space. And obviously you can start by lowering these rear seats. And a little trick for you, make sure when you do that, that you take this strap and Velcro it right here, because if you don't, and let's just say the strap is up there, well, you're gonna have to lean way in. I can reach it, but not everybody is going to be able to do that. But that's helpful for me to be able to reach up and grab that. It'd be a lot easier if it was already set like it is right there. Now you do have quite a bit going on back here. You've got the hangers right here if you need those. Have a little bit of lighting as well. And obviously this is not the maximum amount of space, but this is, and this area does flatten quite well. Get a lot of space here as far as potential options for, well, whatever you might want to haul back here. And from this particular vantage point, you can get a really good view of the panoramic sunroof. That front portion up there over the driver and passenger seats in the front seat area does tilt and slide open. And another convenience, while it's not unusual or out of the ordinary, it's here. I might as well show you. If for some reason you need to lower the power lift gate back here and you want it to open to this height every single time, well, you just pull it down to this height and hold the button down until you hear the beeps. So now when I close that and reopen it, you'll see that it opens back to the height where I just set it. Pretty simple to deal with. And obviously you just move it into position wherever you want it to be, hold the button down again, and you can reset it at any point. And now we'll take a look into the interior, starting with the door panel for the rear doors. Very comfortable. You do have a lot of high-end materials here, which should not be a surprise. Very comfortable armrest, nice layout, everything looks nice. And large door bins right here, plenty of space. And a couple of things that people like to know about. Number one, can you recline the seats? I do have the seat back reclined right here. And to aid the third row passengers back there, these seats can move back and forth. That one's sitting up a lot more straight than what we have here with the reclined seats on this side. But in case you were wondering, that's how that works. And it's very easy to gain access to that area. Just push that button right there and the seat literally just gets up and out of the way. And yes, the third row also reclines. Now, depending on how, not only with this recline here, but where the middle seats are set will determine legroom. Now, this actually isn't that bad for me back here. Although, if I wanted to maximize that, and I don't know how likely it is that anybody's going to sit here with the seat this far forward, but you never know. But there are options to increase leg space, or if brothers and sisters want to play pranks on each other, I guess to decrease leg space as well. You never know. But that does work, and there are a couple of cup holders back here as well. Here on this trim level, you won't find USB connectivity in the third row. There are air conditioning vents for heat or cool air, depending on the time of year, or in some cases, the time of day. In the morning, it might be cold, and by 11 o'clock, it might be warm. So obviously, everybody having their own individual vents. And for those who are wondering how many people can fit back here, this is seating for two in this third row. There's a little bit of space right here, a little place to put, well, whatever anybody wants to put right there. And right here is a button. If somebody forgets to let the third row passengers out, push that button and the seats will both, depending on which button is pushed, go ahead and get back up and out of the way. Very convenient. And no surprises here, but for those who may wonder, yes, there is a shade for the panoramic sunroof. And I'll tell you what, there is a ton of room in this middle row, depending on how the seats are configured, especially if the seats are reclined a little bit. I just feel like I'm in a much larger vehicle than I actually am because there is so much space. And you'll find rear seat pockets back here for your rear seat passengers, as well as the control center right here for the third zone of climate control. We do have tri-zone climate control here, so you have that. You also have a 12-volt power outlet right here and a couple of USB options. There are going to be quite a few USB ports in the vehicle. And no, I didn't forget to show you whether or not there is a fold-down armrest with cup holders built in. And for you parents out there that are going to have child safety seats, car seats here in this area, something that makes it very convenient is that you don't have any kind of covers or anything to deal with where the latch system is concerned. Here are the anchor points right here for each, obviously on both sides, so you can have two seats back here if needed. But it's just convenient that all you have to do is get everything hooked up and in place. You don't have to remove anything and keep up with any additional parts or pieces. All right, let's take a look into the interior for the driver and passenger here with the front seat. A little bit more space with the armrests and definitely a larger door bin. So if you have a door bin snob in your life, well, good news. They're going to be happy as long as they call shotgun. And very comfortable seating, power adjustable seats. There is a pass-through right here that offers for additional space. Just a nice way that space is being used by Infiniti. There's the QX60 logo on the floor mats down there. And what I consider to be very well placed piano black or gloss black finish that works its way across the dash. Not necessarily in areas that are going to get fingerprinted up a lot. People may reach up here for the door handles, but I don't think that's going to be a problem where that's concerned. We'll also see a little bit more of that across this area that really blends in nicely with the air conditioning vents. And plenty of space within the felt-lined glove box right here. I always call it a gloveless glove box because I never find any gloves in there, but yet it's called a glove box. So that's what we have where all of that is concerned. Dual zone climate control here, as you can see. You do have heated seats for the driver and the passenger. 3 different settings for that. Wireless charging for the cell phone. That's always convenient. And here is the shifter. So a little bit of a different style shifter, but your hand fits around that nicely. At least that's what I find. You can even do it this way. There is a button over here on the left-hand side you'll have to push to make that work. Obviously, the button to start and stop the engine, to turn things off, and driving modes. We'll go through those in just a bit. I'll show you what those are. And right here, something that I like to turn off, the auto stop start feature, brake hold mode, and your power parking brake right there. And basically a very clean look all the way across. The cup holders right there. And here is the center console. So we're going to find a 12-volt power outlet in here and a little bit of space. And for those who like to see the upper console, I know that's something that I know a lot of you ask about, so I'm going to make sure I show that to you. There are all the controls and switches up there. You know what all of that is, I'm pretty sure. Probably don't need to tell you. And you thought I wasn't going to tell you about the USB ports here in the front seat area. There they are, right at the base of the wireless charging pad. And here on the driver's side door, well, everything you're likely to expect to see. Everything for your power adjustable side view mirrors, controlling all of the windows, it's all here. And one addition we definitely don't see on the passenger side is going to be the 2 settings for seat memory. You do have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. It is manually adjustable. You just drop the lever right here and then you can adjust that. Make sure you put that back in place before you take off down the road. You will want to do that very quickly if you don't. And right here is the button to open and close the lift gate from the driver's seat. And that flickering effect you see there in the center of the instrument cluster, the dashboard area up there, or the driver's display, depending on what you want to call that, that has to do with my camera. It's not actually happening to the human eye. So here's what we have as far as steering wheel mounted controls go. I think you know what all is here. Once again, pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to figure out. You do have shifter paddles here for navigating your way back and forth through the 9-speed automatic transmission. You'll turn the headlights on right here. You can turn that to auto if you want to. And you also have a feature that even here on this Pure trim level, the base entry level of the QX60, it even has turn signals, blinkers. How many of you know what that is? Raise your hand if you do. I know only a few of you can do that. Okay, it's okay to laugh, especially if you made it to this point in the video. Right here, well, I can't really say anything that necessarily makes you laugh about the lever for controlling the front and rear window wipers, but there it is. And a nice look with your touchscreen right here. Pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to figure out. A lot of one-touch features right there. Obviously, you will have a backup camera, a rear view camera here, nice and clear, so that looks really nice. And Let's go through our driving modes. What exactly do we have here? Well, you have personal, if you want to personalize things. You can also go to sport, standard, or eco, and something we may actually need here in a couple of days in Northwest Louisiana for a rare change, snow mode. I hope we don't need that for too long. I'm not crazy about snow mode. Now, if you happen to be like Adrian Monk and you saw what I did earlier touching the screen, so don't do that, Tom, don't get fingerprints on the touchscreen. Well, you do have an option to avoid that with the controls right here. So you can work your way around with everything. When you want to select something, you can just push down right here where it says OK. It's kind of easy to deal with. It's really simple. So depending on what you need to do, well, there's what you're going to do to deal with that. You can bring the camera up if you need to right there, as far as maybe changing some things, whatever you want to do with your display settings, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on here. I could do a video purely on the infotainment screen by itself, which, by the way, you do have, of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. By the way, pairing your smartphone is done wirelessly. And what does the audio sound like? Well, let's listen and find out. Okay, we don't want to go too long on that. Hopefully that was enough for you to be able to hear it through my lapel mic. We'll do the best we can with what we have available. But I know a lot of you ask about that question, or ask that question about what the audio system sounds like. There's the best I can do for you. And one more thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video before we get out on the road for our test drive. There's an answer to a question I know a lot of you might have had. Are these power folding side view mirrors? Well, now you know they are. And I did push this button to make that happen. All right, we're going to get out on the road for a test drive with the QX60. And the thing that I like here is that you know what you're getting with what's under the hood because of that one singular engine option, but it definitely does a good job of getting the QX60 from point A to point B. I don't think anybody's worried about neck snapping performance where something like this is concerned, but it has enough power to get down the road with absolutely no problem in all conditions. I think it's going to be just fine even if you have a full load of passengers, maybe a little bit of cargo back there. It would be interesting to find out in some of those situations, but I just don't have the ability to do that without having a press car. But we'll give you the best experience we can anyway, regardless. As far as acceleration goes, it's good, it's acceptable. It may not be the most high performance thing out there, but even though every once in a while I'll get a comment of people saying, oh, that's not enough horsepower, and maybe for them it's not, but something that a lot of people don't know is that if you go back a few decades, there were vehicles that had V8s in them that were making less than 200 horsepower, so 295 horsepower is not bad. Obviously the ride quality is good, complemented by very comfortable seating, a nice roomy interior. The way the interior is laid out is good, and I encourage you to turn your auto stop start feature off down there, and I just proved that I didn't do it. Wow, I'm telling on myself in video here. You saw it for yourself. I had to say something about it. But one way or another, I really like the way the interior feels. It's comfortable. I feel good. Now, I have to admit, I only have limited time here, so it's not as if I have multiple hours of driving experience here in this QX60. It would be nice to do that and give you a little bit better idea of what it's like to drive long term, maybe for a few hours, a little bit a longer road trip or something along those lines. But for what I have experienced, it does the job and does the job quite well. Everything is easy to deal with as far as this model goes. At least that's my opinion. Now, for those of you who maybe have one of these QX60s and you stepped out of something that didn't have this kind of technology, what was your experience like in learning the technology? Overall, an enjoyable vehicle to drive. Tell me what your experiences have been like for those of you who have driven a QX60. I'm always curious to know. And one last thing I forgot to mention, beyond those power folding side view mirrors, you also have parking sensors. Okay, tell me what you think about the 2024 Infiniti QX60 Pure. As I said earlier in the video, for those of you who want to see the lower trim levels, well, here is a great option for you. There is a lot here, but is it the best bang for the buck trim level? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Infiniti for loaning me the QX60 for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.